Okay, moving on with the AFC. AFC North, my bread and butter, baby. Let's go. First team up is the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens are going to be very interesting this year. The reason they're going to be interesting is because they pretty much gutted their defense. Um, on offense, they lost Bolden. They just lost Pitta to, I guess he's pretty underrated tight end. They lost him to an injury. So on offense, you have Flacco, Ray Rice, their backup running back, um, Pierce, and then on for receivers, all I see is really Torrey Smith. So that's going to be interesting because it seems like they're trying to do a changing of the guard. No longer Ray Rice's team; it's Flacco's team. And Flacco had this great year last year, and let's let him take the reins. We're going to give him all this money. Well, guess what? You're idiots. Joe Flacco's not an elite quarterback. Ray Rice is still an elite running back. There's no reason for you to be splitting carries with Pierce, but they're going to. So they're not very bright, in my opinion. But Torrey Smith is an elite. I don't know if I should say elite. He's top 15. Like he's arguably top 10 receiver. Like he's a legit number one receiver. So he's gonna have a huge year because there's nobody else for Flacco to throw to, right? On offense, I'm not a believer in Flacco. He had a great playoff last year. Kudos to him, but he's not a friend. I mean, he's not elite at all, not even close. So good luck with that. On defense, they lost Ray Lewis. They lost Bernard Pollard. They lost Ed Reed to the Texans. They lost Paul Kruger to my Browns. And what's left? They drafted two guys on defense. They drafted Elam from Florida. He's a safety. And they drafted, I think his name is Arthur Brown. He's a linebacker from Kansas State. Neither of those guys are starting right now. So I'm not really sure how that's panning out for you. Now, they still do have Haloti Nada. They still do have Terrell Suggs. They still do have, now they have Elvis Dumerville. Now, that's huge. Elvis Dumerville was the leader of the Broncos defense, and he should still be on the Broncos. But kind of in a loophole, he ended up on the Ravens. So that's huge for them. Suggs and Dumerville coming off the edges, that's scary. So I think their D-line will be very dominant, but linebackers and secondary, not so much. I think Ladarius Webb is injured again, which is crazy. So I just don't see how that's. I don't see how they can stay elite. Now the Ravens and Steelers. I'm a Browns fan. The Ravens and Steelers, they are one of those teams that, like, no matter what they lose or what's going on, they seem to always win. Like they'll just gut out 8-8 or better, no matter what, which is so annoying as a Browns fan. So hopefully this year is different, but I'm fully prepared for them to pull something out of their butt and succeed anyways. So moving on to the Bengals. The Bengals are intriguing as well because their defense is underrated. Their defense, in my opinion, is like top 5, which really sucks as a Browns fan. On offense, now I'm having deja vu here because remember when they put all those weapons around Carson Palmer? They had like T.O. and Chad Johnson and a good tight end and T.J. Houshmandzadeh and all these weapons, right? And what happened? Nothing. Because when you have a mediocre quarterback and you put all the weapons in the world around him, guess what he still is? A mediocre quarterback. So I'm having deja vu. Andy Dalton, he's good. He's young. I have nothing against the guy. I think he has Matt Schaub-ish talent, but he's not elite by any means. So it doesn't really matter how many weapons you put around him, but let me say this. They have given him Giovanni Bernard from North Carolina, who's, in my opinion, just like Doug Martin from last year. They have given him Tyler Eifert, who's definitely the best tight end in the draft. He still has A.J. Green, who's an elite wide receiver. So the pieces are there. Mohamed Sanu, he's good too. Their offense has all the tools to blow up. So on defense, they have an elite defense, and they have a very good offense. Is Andy Dalton an elite quarterback? No, he's not. But he may not have to be. If Giovanni Bernard ends up being another Doug Martin, then they could just go out on cruise control, and you could have a game manager as a quarterback, and they'll still win the AFC North. So we'll see. Moving on to my Cleveland Browns. I've already talked about the Browns in previous videos, so you don't need me to go into depth. But I am very excited that Norv Turner is our offensive coordinator. Rob Chesniski is our head coach. Their offensive, very smart guys. Trent Richardson is healthy. That's very exciting. Brandon Weeden, this offense is tailored to his strengths, so that's awesome. Jordan Cameron's going to have a breakout year. Josh Gordon will be fine when he comes back. He's the number one receiver when he gets back from his suspension. And our defense under Ray Horton is going to be exciting. We're going to attack the quarterback for once. We have, Paul Kruger and Jabal Sheard and Barkevius Mingo, good D linemen, DeQual Jackson. I mean, our safeties are solid. All around, we're solid. And so it'll be very fun to see what we can, we're going to make some noise. You guys don't know it, but that's fine. And last but not least, well, in my heart, they're the least, Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers shouldn't be good this year, but like I said before, Steelers and Ravens just seem to be good every year, no matter what's going on, which is so annoying. Big Ben is healthy this year. I give Big Ben credit for one thing. He's very hard to sack. He's not a bad quarterback by any means. He's not elite, in my opinion. Le'Veon Bell, he was their starter. He's a rookie, I think, from Michigan State. He was looking really good in camp. They were really impressed with him, and he was going to start. And then he got hurt. I think he's out for, I want to say 6 weeks, 4 or 6 weeks. So they don't have him. Whoever his backup is, they're not very good. Isaac Redmond, who cares? On offense, he's throwing to Heath Miller, solid. I mean, if he wasn't a Steeler, I'd love the guy. They got rid of Mike Wallace, as you know, to the Dolphins, but then they signed a guy, I think his name's Marcus Wheaton, who's like a Mike Wallace clone. So I'm not sure if they're going to play him that fast, but he looks like Mike Wallace, part 2. Besides that, obviously Antonio Brown, he's a legit number 2. And they have Emmanuel Sanders as well, who, I mean, he's the slot receiver. He's not anything to, write home about. Besides that, on offense, they did get back that lineman, that beast guard that they drafted last year, DeCastro, I think is his name. So their line should be better. They have a tackle from Ohio State. That really pisses me off when they draft Buckeyes. But their line should be better this year. On defense, they lost some guys. Harrison went to the Bengals, and I think their defense won't be nearly as good. But they proved me wrong last year, so I really can't hate on them too much. But yeah, AFC North will be very interesting. But sorry I took so long on the AFC North, but that's my bread and butter, so you have to let me elaborate. Okay, one more division. I'll be right back.